When a technology comes along and says, those things that your business is built on, those actually weren't permanent. Those were just transient features of a pre-technological age, and we can solve those problems and we don't need that anymore. Well, the incumbents get very worried by that. And we have analogies in our lifetime where I think we remember this, right? So if you think about the original internet, and you think about the fact that the original
Brian,
internet...
they're too young.
Well, I mean, the lights are bright. I thought I saw one person. I think Jim Asperger's out there. He's old enough because I knew him then. Okay. If you think about the original internet, in 1996, the internet came within one vote in Congress of being treated like a telephone company, right? There was a real debate about whether the internet should be regulated like a common carrier, and it almost was that way. And the reason for that is that the common carriers were super worried that long-distance phone calling and all kinds of other things, that whole business model was going to be ruined by the internet. And it was. To all of our benefit. But incumbents have a very powerful ear. And regulators respond to their incumbents. So I can tell you, like in my seat, it makes you feel really special when Jamie Dimon makes the schlep down to sit in your office and talk to you for 2 hours. But that happened to me every month. It was really amazing. Like, oh my God. And the normal incentives you have when you're in that seat are the incumbent charter holders of whether they're state banks like Yelena or national banks like me or whatever, is I want these guys to be happy. These guys are my customers. In fact, in a prior era, some bank regulators did refer to banks as their customers. So when you have a technology that is going to destroy or at least disintermediate an incumbent, regulators are going to have, on average, I think we were a little bit different, but on average, it's going to be hard for them to embrace it. So is the U.S. anti-innovation? I mean, no one would say that they're anti-innovation, but they would all be super scared of banks going away or whatever their constituency was. Incumbency is really powerful.
But the reality is, like, Sam and his cohorts perpetuated a fraud. They used customer money to make bets that he poorly risk managed after he made them. Let's forget about the risk management. The problem was he took our money. And so he needs to get prosecuted. The authorities need to dig in and figure out exactly what happened. People will go to jail and should go to jail, I think.
Mike, on fraud and on the idea of him going to jail, the reality is that authorities have not convicted him, have not charged him of anything.
I agree. You're innocent until proven guilty in this country.
What evidence do you have that others might not be seeing? Do you have evidence that others may not be seeing that this was indeed?
Sonali, there's $9 billion that seem to have been moved out of the exchange into his personal accounts. Like, you don't need a whole lot more evidence than that. But I'm not a prosecutor, and he will be investigated. He will be prosecuted, and if the facts turn out the way I expect them to, he will spend time in jail. Is Sam a horrible guy? He's been kind. He's got a kind demeanor. I think he was delusional and detached from a reality. And him and his team did things that no bank should do, no exchange should do, and no person should do.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And we have Brian Brooks saying the same thing as Larry Fink. And guys, we know they do not have to be in the same room because they're on the same page, because they have the same agenda.
We hear Bloomberg trying to attack the bank man.
She asked Mike Novogratz, what evidence do you have that the bank man is guilty? This is unbelievable. You cannot make this stuff up. But guys, we know who controls our media. That's right, the NWO. They control the image of everything that you see and hear. And we had Mike Novogratz squirming to why he recommended Goldman Sachs. That's right, he's a Goldman Sachs boy, just like Gary Gensler and the rest of them. And we have Mike Novogratz playing the Hegelian dialectic when it comes to his prediction. The reason why he stated 500,000 for Bitcoin, and we have Kathy Wood saying 1 million for Bitcoin in 2030, is because of the fourth industrial revolution. Remember, crypto means hidden message, hidden meaning. These cryptos are for the robots, algorithms, and drones, paying each other while the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows. When it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
people really understanding. But fraud's hard to detect.
It is hard to detect, and I appreciate the idea you talking about just his pedigree and how smart he is. I mean, you know, you went to an Ivy League school. A lot of the folks who invested with him probably are on the same level to a certain extent intellectually with him. I mean, why would he get the best of someone like you?
Well, listen, again, when we looked at it, right, we were not an investor. We were a participant on his exchange. We did normal due diligence. They showed us, contracts. Their contract was our coins are our coins, and we have title to them, and they're not supposed to be able to use them to fund his family office. And listen, you wish there was more transparency. Now we're moving with most exchanges to proof of reserves. Binance is leading that charge, but almost all the exchanges offshore and onshore will soon go to proof of reserves. So you actually can use on-chain analytics to prove that centralized companies actually have the money they say they did. I don't think humans are coded to think people will lie to their face like sociopaths, and it's why we have these things show up, from Elizabeth Holmes to Sam Bankman-Fried to Bernie Madoff to the guy at Archipelagos.
Companies. Why Goldman in particular?
I threw Goldman out there because I worked there, and they're 400 feet away down here. What I meant by that is, in times of nervousness, institutional players feel more comfortable dealing with a name they've dealt with for 20 years, right? We're full with institutional people at Galaxy, and we are trying to build that brand within crypto of the trusted counterparty. But we're a lot smaller than the big guys. And so just in nervous times, you're not going to get fired for buying your Bitcoin at Fidelity. And now, who is this Sam Bankman-Fried character after all, right? And so it's just a natural inclination of people to go to the places they perceive as safe. Will it last forever? Absolutely not. Do I think we have a role to play? 100%. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here day after day from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m.
How about the role of regulators? What about your price target here? This idea here that you believe digital assets will win out in the future, but you said Bitcoin could hit 500,000 in 5 years. 1 year is gone, and it's at 16,000. It'll take a lot to get there. So do you still believe that that's possible?
Not in 5 years, and I'll tell you why. The biggest change that happened, and the reason Bitcoin went from 69,000 down to the 20,000s, is Jay Powell decided to find his central banking, superpowers and start bashing inflation over the head with a series of rate hikes that have taken rates from 0 to 4+%. Like, it's pretty much that simple. It's why all frothy assets, growth assets that were quote inflation hedges went down, because we are in the process of beating inflation over the head. Yeah. I don't think long-term it's sustainable, given the political climate, that our governments are going to spend what they have. They're going to spend more than they have, like they always do. And in that case, you're going to see this inflation and the debasement of currency harder and harder to control. But right now, the Fed's in control, and they're doing a darn good job. And that's the main reason why crypto went down. Listen, the rest of this malarkey that we've had between Three Arrows and BlockFi and Celsius and all these companies that were either poorly run or fraudulently run certainly is hurting the overall confidence in crypto. Right. But this too shall pass. They will be brushed off into the dustbin of history. Yeah. And the industry itself is going to emerge having learned lessons stronger, and you're going to see the price take back off.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance, agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.